left this comment on the last video, which basically explained that they enjoyed the video, but they would have preferred to have seen something a bit more longer form. To be honest, he's right. So this video is a proper breakdown of what the horror game actually is, what we've added, and what still needs fixing. The game is set in an abandoned camp, and one player is the killer. The others are survivors, and the survivors must complete objectives around the map to escape the map, kind of like Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th. The twist is that the killer within this game doesn't actually chase people per se. Since the last video, the main thing that we've done is basically turn it from, you know, like a spooky walking simulator into an actual multiplayer game loop. But at this point, we had the basic idea working. You could walk around the camp, interact with objects, and technically play the game, but it didn't really feel like a co-op horror game yet. So that's where we started adding the systems that would actually create the moments between the players. One of the first things that we worked on was the generator. It sounds simple, but this was the first objective that really encouraged everyone to group together and cooperate. Once that was in place, we shifted our attention to the player itself. Movement sounds like one of those things you don't really notice until you feel like it's definitely wrong. We spent a lot of time refining the crouch animation, the locomotion, and getting the inverse kinematics working, so your character actually felt grounded within the world. Of course, the multiplayer had other ideas and just wasn't getting along. The networking just introduced an entirely new set of problems. So characters would just desynchronize over the network sometimes, the animations would just break, or people would fall through the floor, and sometimes you'd just get, I don't know, whatever this is. Honestly, it was really frustrating at the time, but looking back at it now, it's one of those clips that it's impossible not for me to laugh at. Once the core gameplay systems were in place, we finally could spend time making Camp Hardwood actually feel like a believable location rather than just a playable level. A lot of that came down to environmental storytelling, so adding trails through the forest by placing trees by hand, breaking up the terrain and slowly layering detail until it started feeling like somewhere where people actually had been before. Comparing it to the earlier versions, it's honestly pretty satisfying. It's still the same map, but it finally has an identity. And once the world itself is believable, we could finally focus on the most important part of any horror game, the killer. The killer within this game doesn't actually chase people per se. They need to sneak up on people, and they can disguise themselves as a tree, they can plant fake trees that jump scare people, and they basically need to use the paranoia aspect to fuck with other players and get them to just basically not look and type shit. But the problem that we've had mainly is that the tree stalker needed to feel scary, but without just being a basic chase monster, like Poppy from Poppy's Playtime, or any other generic fucking mascot horror game. The problem was simple. If the killer just runs at you, the game becomes very predictable. It's purely based on chase sequences and tension. So we started building the tree stalker as a way around paranoia and just instilled fear instead. Fake trees, disguises, and the traps are all meant to basically make the survivors question the environment around them and not just walk around willy-nilly. But speaking of walking around the map willy-nilly, we added a cat to the game. So basically, it's designed to just pull the player's attention away from the actual game for a minute, so that way the killer can pounce on those moments and try and get behind a player and jump scare them. Or they could just even watch from afar and just wait for someone to walk off and then do it. But it's designed to just kind of draw the players out of the game for a minute, so then that way the killer can then take advantage of it. So in single player, interaction systems are quite simple. You can make a drawer open, set a trap trigger, or trigger a jump scare sequence. But in this game, every important action has to be agreed on by the server and or the client, right? This means when the killer places a fake tree, the server has to know it exists. When a survivor walks into it, the server has to decide whether it should trigger. And then the right survivor needs to be seeing the scare, and then the killer needs to know that it worked. So that's where a lot of the bugs have been for me at the moment, personally. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment with Fright Night 1985 and the development of it. We are edging in on about 6 weeks, to be fair, in terms of the actual development timeline.